Jeff Duncan, he is the beat writer for the Pelicans, New Orleans Times-Picayune. Congratulations, Jeff. You won last night.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, the city's still trying to figure this thing out. I don't think most people in New Orleans right now truly believe what happened last night. I think they think it's an absinthe-induced figment of their imagination.
All right. I couldn't help but wonder where Anthony Davis was last night, and has anybody talked to him last night or today?
I believe that some reports are already leaking out that I have not talked to him, but some people have reported that his stance has not changed. I know David Griffin, the director of basketball ops, the new director of basketball ops for the Pelicans, has plans to meet with Anthony Davis and his representation, Rich Paul, at some point here in the near future. And I'm sure now that's going to be accelerated for him to sit down and try and talk to him and see if his mind has changed. And I would have to think, Dan, that last night's news, if he's not intrigued by that possibility of teaming with Zion Williamson and Drew Holiday here, I don't know what would get him intrigued, because I think that trio would do some serious damage in the Western Conference.
What about Julius Randle's future?
That's up in the air. That's one of many decisions that David Griffin has to make on the roster, along with Elfrid Payton, a number of players. I mean, really one of the attractive things for David Griffin coming here is he almost has a clean slate with the roster. I know that could be viewed good or bad, but it really is a clean slate, and new ownership here with Gail Benson, I think, has made this a very attractive situation for someone that is embracing a challenge of a rebuild. You really have really no baggage on the roster to move forward.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out this. Is it better if Anthony Davis stays, or you trade him to the Lakers or Boston, and then you just do a complete redo here, and you just start over and bring in younger players ready to go who want to be there? Which one makes more sense to you?
Well, I think there was some major damage done by Davis and his camp with the way the trade request was made, the public stance that was taken. And I think they would have to do some damage control. Look, they're fans, right? Eventually that would wear off with every dunk and win that Anthony Davis would bring to the organization. But there is a segment of the fan base here that is ready to say goodbye to Anthony Davis and move forward. And I think that is ultimately the path that David Griffin will take. And, if you use a Game of Thrones reference, he's on the Iron Throne right now. I mean, he has a lot of capital to work with now with Zion Williamson here. I think it makes it a more attractive organization to lure free agents as well, much less what he gets in this trade for Anthony Davis.
McLovin, could you translate what Jeff just said about the Iron Throne, please?
Who's in charge?
Oh, okay. All right. So he's in charge. All right. Yeah. If I'm New Orleans, I move on from Anthony Davis, as wonderful as he is. But if he doesn't want to be there, and then if you get a package deal from the Lakers and you can get a couple of those kids who are ready to play right now and you come in, I think it could be really exciting. And we found that Zion, he seems like the ultimate team player. He was at Duke. He was a great team player. I just hope the city will envelop him. I hope he has an open mind to want to play there, because they're wonderful people and it's a wonderful city. And it could be, the start of something really spectacular. I just don't want it to be a redo of 2012 where, Anthony Davis, or, he was in this situation too, and then somehow, wanted to get out of town.
Well, I think, Dan, the one thing that Zion Williamson has over Anthony Davis is, first of all, his game has got such sizzle to it. He's got a radiant personality, like you said, a very humble kid, which is amazing considering all the hype and hoopla that accompanied his career. Everyone you talk to, by all accounts, he's very selfless and humble. And I think he's going to, like you said, immediately be embraced by New Orleans fans. He's the perfect player in this market at this time for the city of New Orleans. This is a traditional football town. Basketball has never really taken off all the way back. You'd have to go back to the 70s when Pistol Pete was here before you really found someone that the city wrapped itself around and loved on the basketball court. I think this kid will be that player because of that, the way he plays in his game. He's like Elvis on the basketball court, and New Orleans kind of needs that. It's a big event town. It loves its superstars. Drew Brees, of course, in football. They embrace Reggie Bush, and I think Zion Williamson will be that in basketball. He certainly has the best opportunity to do that here.
Where were you last night when you heard that announcement?
I was out on the lakefront in New Orleans on Lake Pontchartrain, and the entire restaurant burst off out of its seats. People were hugging and celebrating. Dan, that doesn't happen in May in New Orleans with basketball. That's something you'd see at a Saints game, not with a Pelicans storyline. It was amazing. People were pulling out their cell phones and taking selfies. I haven't seen anything quite like it regarding basketball, and I've been here 2 decades.
If you were going to recommend one restaurant to Zion, day one when he comes to town.
Absolutely no doubt in my mind, Clancy's in uptown New Orleans. Quintessential New Orleans fare and service, great room, great atmosphere. One of Greg Popovich's favorites. When he comes to town, he's always at Clancy's the night before a game.
Paulie, we went there when we went to the Sugar Bowl, didn't we?
Yes, we had an afternoon brunch lunch thing when I think it's Oklahoma LSU Sugar Bowl. We went there. Really nice.
Huh, all right. Well, there you go. We're providing all the services for Zion Williamson. Hey, Jeff, thanks for joining us. Have fun with this, and I'm certain we'll be in touch.
Yeah, Dan, thanks for having me on. It's going to be a fun ride here in New Orleans.
That's Jeff Duncan, the Pelicans beat writer for the New Orleans Times-Picayune.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.